Why the French eat rich, fatty foods and still have healthier hearts than most of us. The 4 secrets hidden in their lifestyle. Now here's something truly puzzling. Imagine this. The French eat 3 meals a day, and in those meals, butter,
cheese,
creamy sauces, flaky pastries. Their tables are often graced with decadent desserts like éclairs, creamy Napoleons, or the ever-charming macarons. Just thinking about it is enough to make many Americans clutch their chests and wonder about cholesterol levels. I mean, come on, shouldn't this kind of eating lead to sky-high rates of heart disease? Logically, that's what we'd expect. All that saturated fat should be a recipe for clogged arteries and cardiac issues galore. But here's the twist, it's not. Not even close. According to data from the World Health Organization, France is actually one of the highest consumers of saturated fat in the world. Yes, they eat more full-fat dairy, cream-based sauces, and rich meats than most other nations. And yet, astonishingly, their rate of heart disease is among the lowest in Europe. Not only lower than Germany or the UK, but significantly below the United States, which also embraces high-fat diets in its own way. This baffling phenomenon has left nutritionists around the world scratching their heads. So much so, in fact, that they've coined a term for it, the French paradox. But what's really going on here? How is it that the French can indulge in foods that many Americans have been taught to fear and still live long, healthy lives? Is it luck? Genetics? A miracle? Not quite. The truth is, this isn't about magic or mystery, it's about method. The French aren't biologically special. They're simply doing little things very right. Today, we'll break down the 4 hidden keys behind this paradox. And more importantly, we'll talk about how you, yes, even right here in the US, can begin to adopt some of these time-tested habits. 1. It's not just the cheese, it's the kind of cheese. Let's start with a surprising number. The average French person consumes roughly 57 pounds, that's about 26 kilograms, of cheese every single year. That puts them second in the world, just after Germany. Americans? Not far behind. We eat around 37 pounds of cheese annually. And yet, once again, the heart disease rate in the US is double that of France.
How can that be?
We're both eating cheese, right? Well, yes, but here's the kicker. We're not eating the same kind of cheese. In France, there are over 1,000 varieties of cheese. Many of them are made from raw, unpasteurized milk, and they're aged naturally through long fermentation processes. These are full-fat, fermented cheeses. That's very different from the processed, industrialized cheeses that dominate American supermarket shelves, cheeses that often resemble plastic more than food. And why does this matter? It all comes down to a nutrient called vitamin K2, found in fermented dairy products. Scientists call K2 the arterial cleaner. It helps direct calcium out of your blood vessels, where it can cause dangerous blockages, and into your bones, where it belongs. Cheeses like Camembert, Brie, and Roquefort, all French classics, can contain anywhere from 50 to 100 micrograms of K2 per 100 grams. That's dozens of times more than what you'd find in regular milk. Plus, these traditional cheeses are loaded with probiotics and beneficial fatty acids that support gut health, reduce inflammation, and help regulate cholesterol. So when the French eat cheese, they're not just eating fat. They're taking in a complex cocktail of heart-protective nutrients, almost like a natural supplement. Compare that to the American processed cheese slice, made from milk powder, vegetable oil, and artificial flavoring, and you start to see why not all cheese is created equal. 2. The red wine secret, more than just romance. You may have heard the old French saying, "A dinner without cheese and wine is like a day without sunshine." And they mean it. The average French adult consumes over 13 gallons, that's more than 50 liters, of red wine each year, among the highest rates in the world. Now, if someone in the US drank that much, we'd be worried about their liver, right? Surely that kind of alcohol intake is dangerous? Surprisingly, the opposite seems to be true. Multiple studies, including large-scale epidemiological research, show that moderate red wine consumption is associated with a significantly lower risk of heart disease.
Why?
Because red wine contains a powerful compound called resveratrol. It's a natural antioxidant found in grape skins and seeds that has been shown to fight inflammation, reduce oxidation of LDL, bad cholesterol, prevent blood clot formation, improve endothelial, blood vessel, function, raise HDL, good cholesterol. Wines like Bordeaux and Burgundy, which use longer fermentation methods and grape skin exposure, are particularly high in resveratrol. But again, it's not just the wine, it's how the French drink it. They rarely drink wine on an empty stomach. They don't guzzle. They don't slam shots. They sip slowly during meals, often pairing it with fatty foods like cheese or pâté. This pairing actually neutralizes oxidative effects of fat and supports digestion. Wine, for them, is not a crutch or a way to escape. It's a conductor of the meal, an experience, a ritual. So, maybe it's time to retire the beer and hot wings combo and try a glass of red with a piece of real cheese. Your arteries might just thank you. But before you pour yourself a glass, let's talk about something even more crucial. 3. How the French eat. It's not just about what's on the plate. Here's a number worth chewing on. The average American finishes a meal in about 11 minutes. The average French person? 30 to 45 minutes. And often, a full meal might last 2 hours or more. But why does this matter? Because how fast we eat affects how our bodies process food. Fast eating has been strongly linked to insulin resistance, metabolic syndrome, high triglycerides, and yes, heart disease. When you eat quickly, your body doesn't have time to release proper digestive enzymes. Blood sugar spikes. Insulin floods in. And over time, that can lead to arterial damage, diabetes, and chronic inflammation. Slow eating, on the other hand, improves digestion, lowers blood sugar spikes, and reduces fat storage. French people also add a layer of ritual to their meals, setting the table, lighting a candle, having conversation. It's not just a refueling stop, it's a moment. So while we in the US might eat a sandwich standing up or in front of a screen, the French sit, talk, chew, and savor. And this deliberate pace might just be part of their secret sauce. For the final and most overlooked key, their slower way of life. Here's what may surprise you the most. Despite the stereotype, French people don't actually exercise more than Americans. In fact, data from the European Union shows that French citizens spend less time on formal exercise than people in Germany, the Netherlands, or the Scandinavian countries. Even daily joggers and gym-goers are fewer in France compared to the US. So, if it's not the gym, what's keeping their hearts healthy? One word: stress. Or rather, the lack of it. Chronic stress, according to studies published in The Lancet and Harvard Medical School, is one of the most powerful predictors of heart disease, even more than diet in some cases. High-pressure work environments, loneliness, anxiety, they all contribute to chronic inflammation, hormone disruption, and cardiovascular strain. The French, by contrast, have one of the most generous paid leave policies in the world, at least 5 weeks of vacation per year. Their lunch breaks are long, often over an hour. And overtime is culturally discouraged. Work stays at work. Weekends are sacred. Many stores still close on Sundays, not for religious reasons anymore, but for rest. Their cities clear out during summer holidays. People retreat to the countryside. They take walks, sip coffee, enjoy sunsets. And this slowness isn't laziness. It's cardiovascular therapy in disguise. French people give their hearts daily moments to unwind. Not with supplements or apps, but with community, conversation, and calm. Here in the US, we're often encouraged to push through and hustle harder. But at what cost? So, what can you do? The French paradox isn't really a paradox at all. It's a reminder. It reminds us that health isn't only about avoiding fat. It's about knowing how to live with it wisely. You don't need to move to Paris, start eating foie gras, or down bottles of Merlot. But you can choose real cheese over processed imitations. Slow down during meals. Put the phone away. Talk. Chew. Rethink how and when you drink. Pair wine with meals, not stress. Carve out daily moments of peace. Walk. Talk. Rest. Protect your boundaries between work and life. Because health isn't just about what's on your plate. It's about your pace, your peace, and your presence. So the next time you sit down to eat, remember, Maybe it's not about what you eat, but how and why you eat it. And that, perhaps, is the true heart of French living.